Hello, good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you're studying. So, if you have already mastered the chapter 1, you are ready to move on to chapter 2. I hope you have already read the chapter in Willox when you open this video. Remember that every video is a further explanation in which I hope to clarify some concepts, but you really need to have already read the material in your textbook so that this can be useful. So, you have seen how Latin has nouns which, contrary to English, have gender, number and case. You have number, of course, in English. A noun in English can be singular or plural. And sometimes you have a case, but we will talk a little bit more about that. One thing that you don't have in English for nouns is gender, in the sense that if you say house, you don't say that that noun is either a masculine noun or a feminine noun or neuter noun. While Latin has these three genders, each noun has a gender. So when you study a word, when I say, okay, how do you say house in Latin? You go to a dictionary and you will find a nominative case, a genitive case, and the gender expressed, usually F for feminine, M for masculine, N for neuter. This is how you have to memorize the vocabulary entry for a noun in Latin. So, house is casa, casae, feminine. You have to say nominative, genitive, and gender, and you have to memorize it like this. So you will see that every time that you study the vocabulary in Willox, you will have the three entries for a noun. And it is essential to memorize also the gender because adjectives agree in gender with the nouns. So you have to know that a noun is feminine if you want to know how to say, for example, beautiful house. Okay? Number is not an issue because you have number singular or plural also for in English. In order to form a plural, you add an S usually to a noun, even if in some cases you modify the noun as it happens in Latin. But I will talk more about this. One essential thing that you really need to memorize is the case. What is the case? The case expresses the function of each word in a sentence. So, for example, in the sentence, let's do this. The dog bites the man. You have the dog, that is the subject of the sentence, bites, that is the verb, the man, which is the object. The dog, the subject, is the one who does the action of biting the man. Okay? The man is the object because the action bites as the man as an object. Now, if I change in English, if I change the order, the man bites the dog, if I change the order of the words, you get a completely different meaning. The man bites the dog is different from the dog bites the man, right? In Latin, it doesn't, because I have to change the ending of the word. Canis mordet virum. This sentence means the dog bites the man. Okay? The dog bites the man. If I write virum mordet canis, it still means the dog bites the man, because from the ending canis, I know that canis is the subject of the action, and from the ending I know that the man, virum, is the object of the sentence. In order to say the man bites the dog, so in order to change meaning, I have to change the ending, or in this case, canis has the same ending also in the nominative. Canis becomes accusative, and therefore I can leave it there, but I have to change the ending to show that this is accusative now, and so that who does the action is the man. Canet mordet vir. This means the man bites the dog, even if I have changed the order of the words, and actually even if I have left the order of the words as in the first case. Okay? So canem is in the accusative case, which is the case of the direct object. Vir is in the nominative case, which is the case of the subject of the sentence, the one who does the action in a sentence. Okay? It's important that you memorize accurately all the cases. Latin has 6 cases: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative, and vocative. You are a little bit familiar with them already in English because you have some cases in the pronouns, for example. If I say he reads, you know that he is the subject. But when he becomes an object, it changes form. So I can say I cannot say I call he, because he is only for the subject. I have to say I call him. Him is the accusative, just like virum or canem. There is this m that characterizes all of them, right? So you have, in a sense, an idea of what a subject, of what a nominative is and what an accusative is. You also have the idea of genitive, because you have the possessive case in English, in the sense that if I say, I can say the book of the student, expressing the possession. The book of the student, of indicates the possession, who possesses the book, but I can also say the student's book. So I modify the word student to express that. The dative is the case of the indirect object, so the one that is usually preceded by the prepositions to and for. I write this book for you. Okay, for you goes into dative. Accusative, we have already said that it's the direct object. Ablative is the case for everything else, in the sense that it is used when I want to say from, by, with, in, and it's usually preceded by some prepositions that you will learn, or sometimes not. But basically remember that the ablative is everything else. The vocative is a case that is used only to call someone. For example, if I say, student, come here. Okay, student has to go into vocative. I'm using to call someone. but usually the ending on the vocative is the same as the nominative, so only in the case of the second declension you will have to memorize a different ending. So now, study very well these. You really need to know what is the function of each case in a sentence, okay? And you have to memorize the cases in this order. So you have to know that the nominative comes before the genitive, and then the dative comes, then accusative, ablative, vocative. So say it 1,000,000 times. Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative, vocative. After that, click on the next video in which we will go over the cases of the first declension. Okay?